Welcome to Firm Foundations, powered by Parallel 42. This is where faith meets real life and leadership gets personal. I'm your host, Stephen C. Wilson. In each episode, we explore the timeless truths, everyday decisions, and transformational leadership principles that help you build a life that lasts. Welcome to another episode of Firm Foundations. My name is Stephen C. Wilson, and with us today is Dawn Hunter. Dawn is currently the Executive Director of CareNetworkCR. And
Yes.
we talk about all things faith, life, and leadership. So Dawn, welcome to Firm Foundations.
Thank you. Happy to be here with you today, Steve.
Yes, so tell us a little bit about your journey,
hmm
and then we'll just get started.
Sure. So my name is Dawn Hunter, Executive Director of CareNetworkCR. Been with CR for nearly 2 years. However, the mission of Care Network is more like is in my spiritual DNA. And so I feel like I've been on mission with Care Network much longer than the boots on the ground
Yeah.
with the organization. But absolutely love the organization, love the mission, love the people involved, and loved seeing what God has been doing. And it's awesome to see the Bible come to life and to see his body, the body of Jesus working together, seeing the strength that takes place with unity, collaboration, the beauty that is shown when people of the body are operating and expressing and serving and ministering in their capacity and what God has equipped and installed them to do. And so it's beautiful to see the micro and the macro and the micro, like beauty and work of the mission taking place, because it matters when individual souls are connected with and prayed with and connected to partner churches or connected with a coach, or that financial component of receiving a financial blessing, but also ultimately we want to see people know Jesus, come to know him, and be drawn to him. And so it's beautiful.
Know all of what Care Network is. What is Care Network?
Yes. So our mission is really focused on Lynn County right now. It's a beautiful mission, and it should be all over the place, that we're starting here in Lynn County. And so we glorify Jesus Christ by meeting the physical and spiritual needs of our community through our unique partner network that we have. So right now we have 23 partner churches that we're working with in collaboration in our network to meet those physical and spiritual needs of our community.
And this again, you've been with for 2 years, and this really is an outpouring again of just kind of a full expression of where your heart is and serving, because you've worked for the other faith-based nonprofits in the past.
Yep.
Was there a particular experience in your life where faith stopped being this theoretical or nice to have, and really became deeply practical? Because again, this is carrying out your faith.
Yes, I would say yes. I definitely have that mark of my life when that took place. And it not only just like describing it as practical, but as a living expression. And when I was in college, I was a really good heathen and living life for myself and in a very reckless fashion, and really came to the end of myself in that recklessness and self-absorption. And I had an experience with the Lord. And so like his living word became alive and he came to me as love. And so I was able to have that translation from darkness to light. And in that moment of saying yes to him and surrendering and choosing to follow him and allowing him to live through me, to teach me how to live my life in a way that was honorable towards him, not just what I wanted to do in the moment. So much transformation had taken place. My heart, where there was stoniness, became soft and pliable and tender, and wrong thinking was corrected as I became more sanctified and walking in his word and understanding the power of his word and how to allow his word to circumcise me both in heart and mind, but then also, put away those things that are foolishness or of the world and allow a new pattern of thought to come forth. So lots and lots of transformation. And I know things I was set free and delivered of and walking in a new trajectory and pathway of life. And so when you have that experience of such inner suffering and turmoil and darkness, and then you're brought into this place of beauty and relationship and being known and having hope and having dreams for the future, like there's just something so unique about your faith and hope and practicality of life that takes place as like, if he did this for me, he can do it for anyone else. And he so desires to want to do that. So communicating that message that he wants this for everyone.
And ultimately, that's the desire of Care
Mm-hmm.
Network. All of those involved in Care Network, all of these things are not just simply for, again, the practical purposes
Mm-hmm.
of providing, but people to receive the gospel.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love how we focus not just like on the spiritual component of a person or just the physical component, but we really take that holistic view of like, we want to have dignity and ministry and support for the entire personhood because, it's the word that transforms our minds and gives us the right things to have joy to think about and to ponder and to meditate on. And also, like I said, like puts the word of God on our hearts, transcribes that on our hearts, and allows those stony, hard places to be soft and malleable and like just become crafted in him. And so allowing that beauty come forth it's an honor. It's a sacred work. And allows the whole person of someone to be ministered to and transformed.
I know from being engaged and involved with you in Care Network as well that there's certainly some heavy stories.
Yes.
How do you maintain? How do you tend to your soul? How do you tend to
Mm-hmm.
you so that your compassion, your giving, your caring
Mm-hmm.
doesn't wear you out, doesn't become exhaustion?
That's like a lifelong practice of ministry, right? Because there
Right.
is
It's not to say so that it doesn't, but at least the longevity of that time period where you're exhausted is not as long, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And I think it comes to a few things that have been super helpful for this in this area, Steve, is, it's self-awareness of checking in with our own hearts and minds of like, okay, how am I feeling about this? Being like just knowledgeable and equipped with self-awareness and then guarding our hearts. Having a prayer coverage or a prayer team is of the utmost importance, but it begins with first our cups being filled and ensuring that we're ministering to the Lord at the beginning of our day and allowing his word, his spirit to guide and fill us up. And then also just knowing like our boundaries of like how much we can engage in right now, or do we need to take a break? Debriefing is huge. So communicating and sharing that burden together as a team is something that has been super helpful and practice in the rhythm that we have here at Care Network, because we do hear some really hard stories. And, the word calls us to weep with those that weep and to rejoice with those in that place of joy. So it's also having that kind of that expansion of emotional capacity and spiritual capacity to connect with folks right where they're at.
I would assume all along the way, I know you're my desires as well is to continue to grow and always gain an understanding of the Lord and always putting more and more trust in Him. How has your understanding of what it means to trust God evolved as your leadership responsibility has grown, right? Because the last nonprofit, you weren't the executive director. This is a new, right? So your
Yep.
responsibilities have grown as leader.
Mm-hmm.
So how has your understanding of your trust in God evolved during that time?
Mm-hmm. I think for me in this season, how I would respond to that is trusting in his timing. And
Yes.
there's definitely that season of like you plant the seeds and you put forth the effort, you have the strategy, you have the goals, you're doing all the right things, but it's really reaping the outcomes and the results like in his timing. And so I just reflect back in 2025, we had a wonderful and also hard year of 2025, and how some of the hard things were some of like the more political and cultural things taking place, and how as an organization, nonprofit, as a Christian, as a network of like-minded evangelical churches, like how do we respond to this, but not only get it to a place of responding, but get out in front of some of these things, like how do we begin to be the place of influence and care and refuge, so we're not always in response to the government funding and programming being cut, but how do we get to a place where we can get out in front of it, but trusting in God's timing, because we had some of these major national headline things of government cuts, and so there was all of this lack and this void that was taking place,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, Lord, how do we become that invitation or that place now where folks were really dependent or looking forward to these programs or these governmental organizations providing this service? Like, how does the church begin to take back what is rightfully ours and be
Right.
that place of refuge, care, relationship, with that biblical, discipleship and stewardship? And so it was trying to like reframe what was taking place, but as a place of invitation. And it's like the Lord almost saying, like, how are you going to respond to this invitation? And so earlier part of the year, a lot of government programming was cut, especially in ESL locally in our community. So we in May had a collection of invited our partner churches and their
Mm-hmm.
pastors to come to a roundtable to say, hey, here's the reality of the situation. Here's what's how this is affecting our community. What are we as a church how are we going to respond? Do we have a passion and a yes? And are we willing to put forth effort and volunteers and financial giving to respond to this and begin to be the place of like ESL, the ESL school, and provide some education to our immigrant and refugee neighbors and friends. And so from May, the out of the round table, the pastor was like, yeah, let's do it. They had passion. There was a commitment. There was unity. There was consensus. And by September, so just a few months later, we're opening up our school at 4 different schools, 2 different church sites. And so seeing how quickly God moved in that, like that just blew my mind of how fast the finances, the guests from the churches, the venues, the childcare workers, the volunteers that came forth. That was amazing. And then there was also the same time some other strategies and things that had gone out for kind of mass emails and mass blasts of like, here, come learn about Care Network, and just doing a lot of development work that is the right thing to do, but it wasn't paying off for us. Right, as the development plan kind of projected or rolled out. And so being able to trust the Lord that is going to move in his timing, whether it's super fast in a condensed amount of time or a little bit more elongated in the time frame of what you would desire to have an outcome or results.
How do you on that note, what are some, because you've talked a lot, trust, ultimately trusting that we are in fact doing what we're supposed to be doing. Because there are times like, okay, are we going down right? What's this opposition about, or why are these problems coming up? And it would be very easy to maybe this isn't what we're supposed to do, those types of things. What specific Bible principles, if you will, guide you on how to operate on a daily basis? Because you're going to be hit with a lot of different things. So what are there some specific biblical principles that you get into?
I love reading Proverbs because it's just packed full of wisdom. And it says in the council of many witnesses, you know, you have um, success in life. And so we have a very, very tight knit, trustworthy, like minded tribe and network and volunteer group. And so we have, you know, our committees that are just packed full of wise people that are
Yeah.
willing to lean in and to provide insight and prayer coverage and counsel. And so really relying on their counsel. And you know, maybe not everything's in agreement, but there's unity and there's good considerations taking place with a lot of good solutions or opportunities. And so leaning on our you know, board of directors, our strategy team, our development committee, like all of those people that are connected and have a passion for the mission, and to see folks coming into the kingdom and the church strengthened has been really, I mean, just invaluable. And so we start most of our mornings with prayer and devotion. And so we're very prayerful and, you know, deliberately in the word. We're sharing with one another what the Lord's doing in our hearts, what he's speaking to us. So we have that intimate moment in relationship with one another with spiritual components. And then yeah, again, just that having that counsel. And we use the EOS system, so that's wonderful. We have the Working Genius as tools for our team to really be exercising and working in our gifts and our strengths, our talents. And so it's recognizing that in each of our team members, and then also allowing whatever insight, counsel, gifting that the Lord's placed into us, like giving honor and place for that, and asking people, what do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this? What's your counsel on this? So yeah, people, God has sent this team here, and let's hear what they have to say. Let's give space for Holy Spirit and gifts and wisdom to come forth and help see what, you know, the Lord's speaking through all of us, because we only have a portion, right? We
Right,
need one
right,
another
absolutely.
collectively.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
seeking that, talk about godly counsel and
Mhm.
or making biblical decisions. And first, right, you're praying, going to prayer,
Yes.
and then you look at the word. What does the word have to say
Hmm.
about it? What do my colleagues, those that those others that I surround myself with, what do
Hmm.
they say
Hmm.
about this
Hmm.
particular situation? And then what do my own experiences say
Hmm.
about this particular thing? And so it's a matter of uh, of doing all four of those. We can't just rely upon
Hmm.
one, because
Yes.
we want to confirm and really have that sound understanding of what it is that we're supposed to be doing, because you have individuals' lives
Hmm.
in the balance, so to speak. Um,
Yeah.
and you want to make sure that yes, you're taking those right steps that will help them. I know you've done a lot of reading and work around um, helping without hurting, right?
Yes.
What's
Yes.
what's the general premise of that, and how do you incorporate that into work of the Care Network?
Yes. So When Helping Hurts is a book from the Chalmers Center.
Yeah,
Love the Chalmers Center. The Chalmers Center is a biblical worldview data research education center focusing on poverty alleviation efforts from a biblical lens. I absolutely love this. It makes total sense. There's so much data and research to back this up, but it takes both relationship and financial provision to really alleviate poverty. And those are like some of my favorite things. Steve.
right, right, yeah,
And so, you know, I've kind of showing like a comparison. I've seen that done really well, and I've seen that done not so well, that has led people or has created systems that have led to a cycle of dependency, a mindset of dependency, even like a spirit of dependency and poverty spirit and understanding. And so I've seen what that influences and constructs the person. But I've also seen when helping hurts biblically, and when there's trust in the Holy Spirit, incorporation of His Word, and us kind of getting out of the way, but more walking alongside people for some long-term transformation and discipleship. Like, that's been a really beautiful thing as well too. So I definitely have seen fruit and results on both ends of the spectrum. But I think When Helping Hurts should be a book that, as Christians, we pick up like every 3 to 5 years, because I pick it up and something new speaks to me. And it really has examined my heart and my mind of sometimes I think I'm too much or I insert myself too much, and I don't need to do that. And
Right.
so our definition or lens of helping can actually be hurting someone or affirming identity that they have that's not biblical, such as, well, I need someone else to do this for me. I'm incapable of doing this. And what we learned is that people in poverty, it's not just a lack of material items, but it becomes more of an identity crisis where I'm incapable, I'm unloved, I'm unworthy, there's not a place for me. And so we really want to dismantle and confront that lie to say, no, there is a place for you. God has a different story and identity for you, and begin to speak into that first and foremost, because we always want to have eternity in mind, right? Like we want people to know Jesus, to be drawn to Him, and to go to heaven, to have eternity with Him in paradise. And so we always have that lens in mind and that perspective. But at the same time, we don't, when we're connecting with callers in the community and folks that have needs, like, we're not pushing our agenda or our Christian faith on them, but we're definitely expressing our love in the way how we help through that biblical principle.
Final question, Dawn. What's one leadership lesson you learned the hard way? Something you couldn't have learned in a book or in a class, but just something you learned
Yes.
along the way.
Yes. I was thinking about leadership and relationships and nonprofit, and I think it comes to real one thing for me in this season, I would say, is self-examination, like really asking myself the hard questions and allowing myself to be brutally honest with myself, and not trying to have like rosy lenses, or like, because I am more of an optimistic person, and so I do have that, but it's like, okay, like that's good, but also having that kind of balance and being really having that self-awareness and a self-evaluation, and being giving Holy Spirit invitation to search my heart and to reveal me to me. And so I want to be the first one to ask myself hard questions, and be able to have a good response, an honest response, a transparent response to that. And so I would say that just comes with probably maturity. And I would say some of that has probably come through, I would say, some naivety and just being more of that optimistic person. But in a sense, some of it also has come through some betrayal in relationships. And that is a place of suffering and hardness. But at the same time, God can use that in so many ways. And so allowing Him to bring the goodness and the beauty out of that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Geez, we could talk all day about just about that one there. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Should have opened with that question. That's what I should have done, right? Then yes. Well, if someone wants to find out a little bit more about
Yeah.
Care Network,
Yeah.
where can they go?
Yeah, so we have a website, carenetworkcr.org. We have information about our mission, informational workshops, events, talk about hidden gems, as well as we have a blog about poverty alleviation efforts, Chalmers Center topics, and then we also have social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Care Network CR.
All right. Well, Dawn, thanks again for being a
Yeah,
guest on Firm Foundations. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you.